Hey, what's going on, you guys, and welcome to another Emblem Review channel. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite GameCube games coming and being ported over to 3DS, which is going to be Luigi's Mansion. But before I get into that, if you guys haven't noticed, I actually just reorganized my game shelf earlier yesterday, and the reason why was because I actually needed to add all the games that I picked up from Portland Retro and added to my shelf, which I realized that a lot of it wasn't going to fit, so I had to organize and take some stuff down. So I'm now happy with it. I need to pick up another shelf so I can add everything else to it. But yeah, hopefully you guys can actually enjoy the new background. So yeah, jumping into it, it's a perfect time that, Luigi's Mansion actually came out, with it being Halloween, and then also last month they actually announced in the Direct that Luigi's Mansion 3 is now coming out next year. I thought that would be a great time to start talking about one of my favorite games. And honestly, like I said, Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube is in my top 5, and the reason why it was such a great game was because, one, it's a Mario game without Mario, which when I was a kid I thought it was really interesting, and also the thing that caught my interest was, it's ghosts and you're being a Ghostbuster, so that was another great thing added onto it. So this was definitely something random but totally awesome that I enjoyed as a kid. Now, for them to bring this over to the 3DS, I was very excited when they announced it during the Direct earlier this year, but I was also a little upset that they didn't want to bring it over to the Switch. But with Luigi's Mansion 3 coming out, I don't have any doubts that they're going to be porting this, and as well as the Dark Moon, which is the sequel to Luigi's Mansion, and porting it over to the Switch, whether they're doing one physical copy and a download, which I really hope they don't. I hope they actually just bring them both and give them both a hard copy, because that's an awesome thing that I would love to add to my collection. But we'll have to wait and see until next year. Now, the reason why this game is actually one of my favorites, I'm going to be going over into the story, so if you guys haven't played this yet or played the GameCube, just a heads up, there are spoilers in here, so if you don't want to watch that, just feel free to play the game first and then watch this video and see what my review is. But yeah, the game starts out as, you're starting out as Luigi, and he actually gets an invitation saying that he won a contest that he doesn't remember entering. He won a mansion. So he's walking up to the mansion, and then he actually finds out that the house is actually haunted, where he actually meets one of his partners, Dr. E. Gads, who actually owns a device that he created, which is the Poltergeist 3000, which actually helps you collect ghosts. Now, he's been collecting ghosts for a very long time, as well as collecting a lot of these specific ghosts, and he actually ported them over into a painting. Now, unfortunately, someone actually broke into his house and stole the paintings and released them back into the house. And with his older age, he's not able to recollect all these ghosts. He had a hard time just even capturing the first ghost. So he actually asked Luigi to help him out, and returns that he'll help him because Mario was actually seen going into the house, but it was seen not coming back out. So Mario is actually missing in this game. So Luigi actually agrees to helping him. Now, along the road, Luigi learns new ways to be able to fight the ghosts with new abilities, whether it's using flames, water, ice, anything to help him collect the ghosts, as well as figuring out the puzzles of trying to beat the mini boss ghosts and the big boss ghosts. Now, the reason why I actually enjoyed this game a lot too was the fact that you actually had to figure out, one, how to bring the mini boss and the boss ghosts out, and being able to capture them. And a great example for that, there's actually a ghost in the kitchen, well, in the dining room. He's actually sitting down, and this, as a kid, I was trying to figure out for the longest time, and you actually see a bunch of ghosts bringing him food, and he keeps on eating, and he actually reminded me a lot of Slimer from Ghostbusters. Now, how you were able to beat him was you actually had to collect the waiter ghosts and then actually suck up his food. He gets upset, and then his heart, and yes, in this game, ghosts have hearts, and you actually have to flash your light on him. While you're trying to capture him, he actually spits fireballs at you. Then after a little bit, you actually capture him by bringing his health down to 0. That was just one of the many bosses that, was great in this game. There's a lot of smaller bosses in here that you actually have to figure out, whether it's, second of a current to get them cold, or trying to get them in a specific spot while they're dancing, anything like that. I thought that was really fun as a kid, and I still enjoyed it playing on the 3DS. Now, while you're progressing through into you actually find out that there are actually boos in this game as well, and Luigi accidentally sets them free after they've been sleeping. And your job is also to try to collect all 50 boos throughout the entire house, and you get a radar that actually tells you where they are, and then you're trying to absorb them. Now, while you're progressing through the game, you actually find out that King Boo is actually the one that invited Luigi and Mario. He originally wanted Mario, and he actually captured Mario and threw him in a painting. And then later down, he actually decides he wants to add Luigi to the painting. Now, King Boo is obviously the last boss in this game. He's the king of ghosts, so that doesn't really surprise a lot. So when you get to him, he actually absorbs you into a painting. You actually fight him, who now has actually a Bowser costume. Now, the reason why this was a big part for me growing up as a kid and now was because this was actually the hardest part of the entire game. I had such a hard time playing as a kid that I actually never beat Luigi's Mansion because of the Bowser part. And I finally beat it as an adult after spending a couple hours trying to figure out the puzzle. It was a lot of fun, very challenging, but sadly that was actually the only challenging part that I felt like replaying this game now compared to me playing as a kid. And what do I mean by saying that was, this game is great, I love it, it just felt too easy for me, even all the way until leading up to the boss. But once you actually beat it, you actually get to go run through the game again. And the reason why is because at the end, you actually end the game with a little hut that says Luigi's house. And then every time you beat it, the house gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you actually get to a grade S, which is when you beat the game, I think for like the 5th or 6th time. And it's actually a mansion. And that's why I love is because at the end, you actually end with the title of the game, Luigi's Mansion, because it's just Luigi's house. So all in all, I love the fact that you have to replay this game over and over and over again, because that way you can relearn the tricks, you can actually speed through it and be able to pick up all the boos and all the ghosts and everything like that. So I thought that was a great thing for the game. But the one thing that they did change in this game was that they added co-op. And what I mean by co-op, they actually added 2 ways to play this game with someone. The first one is if both of you have the game, you both get to play throughout the entire game, help each other out through the puzzles, capturing all the ghosts and everything like that. The second way is if someone doesn't have the game, you or that other person, you can join on them and they can only play with the bosses. Now, I feel like that was a great thing for them to add because, simple fact, if you're hesitant about picking up the game, this is a great way to get you interested because you get to try the bosses, you get to try the fun part out, as well as being able to figure out the puzzles if you pick up the game. So I thought that was really great for them to add. Now, this is by far one of my favorite 3DS games, which honestly says a lot but doesn't say a lot because I don't own a lot of 3DS games, and I'm actually thinking about restarting up a 3DS collection because realizing I actually have a lot of fun playing with my 3DS. Next to my Switch, the 3DS is actually one of my favorite handhelds, next to the Game Boy Color though. So I'm thinking about debating that. I'm debating on picking up more 3DS games. So if you guys have any that you want me to pick up or at least try or review on, let me know. I would love to be able to just add more 3DS games to my collection. It's just very hard for me to pick out which ones I want because I don't want a complete 3DS collection. So yeah, that is going to be my review for Luigi's Mansion. I say if you have a 3DS, pick this up. If they announce it for the Switch and you have a Switch, I say pick it up if it comes out for the Switch, as well as Dark Moon. Both great games. I enjoy playing both of these. But out of both of these, Luigi's Mansion is my favorite so far until Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out, which should be coming out next year, you guys. That's what they said was for 2019. I'm hoping they stick with that. I'm hoping it's going to be a Halloween game. They came out with this one for the Halloween month, so I'm hoping they stick with that and they have the time. So, I mean, we got a year. We have to wait, but I'm hoping it comes out next year. And yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the likes and comments. I'm hoping to get Portland Retro video up pretty soon, as well as some other reviews that I haven't had time to edit yet. So I just want to say thank you guys. Be sure to check those out and be sure to like this page, as well as share it if you guys want. If you have anyone else that is looking for a review for this game. So yeah, just want to say thank you. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you guys all again later. Have a great day.